Hello, world of tanks blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Hey, I'm back. It's Friday, September 5th. Time for another store review. There's really not enough changing in the store for me to do this every week, so figure I'll do it every other week while I'm coming up with some new ideas for content. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to put ideas for what you want to see, please do that in the comment section below. Wanted to talk about the Pesante C45 Italian heavy tank at tier 8 because it is for sale in the store here. I struggle with this tank to get above 50% win rate, and I'll tell you why as we jump into the store. So let's just jump in straight out and talk about tanks for sale. Remember 2 weeks ago, I talked about that conversion using about 650 gold per dollar. If you can find good deals, 2x on the gold, that's where you should be buying gold. And it's always more efficient to buy the gold and then use that gold to buy tanks. So let's talk about this Relentless and Intrepid bundle. K91 is a tank I've talked about. I do enjoy this tank. However, it sits there at that awkward tier 9. It is a solid Soviet heavy tank. And you can see just by looking at it, it gives tier 8 a very hard time with this strange armor profile. And the thing I like about it is a 3-shell autoloader, 3.5 seconds between shells, very fast for a heavy tank to be able to get out 350 damage. If you hit all 3 of those shots, look at that, you're already at 1,000 damage. So what I find about this tank after playing it a few times, you end up with games, think I did all right, and then you're at 3,000, 4,000 damage, and you didn't even realize it because of that auto loader. And like I said, the mobility on it is good. 7 degrees of gun depression. You got that 40 kilometers per hour top speed. And I do enjoy this tank, but again, awkward tier 9. Then this K2, guys, I am playing this at an 80% win rate right now. I am really enjoying this, and I don't know if it's just because it's not your standard pike nose here. As you can see, this front part is flat, giving you a little bit more bounce as it feels like. Of course, you've got that Soviet spaced armor on the sides. The gun accuracy in this is not super strong. As if I look at my stats on it, it's a little bit lower average pen compared to some of the other heavy tanks. But I don't know what it is. I've just been playing this tank quite well. It's a very solid all-around tank. But again, it plays a lot like all of the other, pike nose, heavy, spaced armor sides, 252Us, IS-3s, those type of things. So just keep that in mind. Let's see real quick. It's got 7 degrees of gun depression, only 32 kilometers per hour as your top speed. So just be aware of that before you jump in and purchase this bundle. 15,500, it's a decent deal. But we are looking at, let's see what this comes in at individually. 7.5 for the K2, which is not horrible. It's right where you would get a tier 8. And then 10,000, might be a little bit high for the K91. But together, 15.5, not a bad deal in my opinion. So here's the tank I wanted to talk to you, the C45. I just don't understand why I struggle in this tank to get, above a 50% win rate. If you look at it, the unique feature is the reserve shell. And you are seriously punished if you use that reserve shell because the reload time on that is 16.5 seconds, whereas you have a 4.86 second reload, and that's without equipment, on that first shell. So if you are trigger happy, and sometimes maybe that's what happens to me, I get trigger happy and I think I'm fully loaded, I'm counting down that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I go ahead and fire, and I'm actually firing that reserve shell. You can see you're getting penalized by at least 2 shells in reload time because of that. It does have 8 degrees of gun depression and 35 kilometers per hour as top speed. I don't know if the armor is anything super special. It looks like it's got some spaced armor up in the front there. But yeah, I just can't put my finger on it. So just keep that in mind. And the sphere is a Swedish tier 7 medium tank. Kind of a fun little tank. It punches pretty hard, I believe. Let's see. Average pen is 167, but it's doing 290 damage, which is, a little bit on the high side for a tier 7 medium tank. Nice mobility, 10 degrees of gun depression. There's that 55 kilometers per hour of top speed, but again, tier 7, so that's kind of that awkward tier, usually bottom tier. 5,000 for it by itself, it's okay. 7.5 is okay for the C45. Rumpanzer, German medium tank. This tank for 8.5 is overly priced in my opinion. When it first came out, people struggled to figure out how to pen through this giant dozer. It kind of acts as a shield to make it harder to find out where to pen, but I feel like the more times I get this out now, people understand where to pen it. It gets penned quite easily. And so it is just, to me, a mediocre tank. It does have a German gun. You've got 9 degrees of gun depression, 42 kilometers of top speed there, 3.0 aim time, and 0.3 on the dispersion. So outside of that, it's just an average tier 8 medium tank in my opinion. This is just a strange bundle, and I do believe we talked about it last time in store. You've got two tanks very much the same, the Object 252U, and you can see there's the full pike nose, kind of the difference between the K2. And then the Defender, which used to be quite an OP tank, but not so much. I think they kind of nerfed the reload. 7.5 seconds, 3 shells, 23 for the entire clip. Two very similar tanks. It's only for cash, so I would stay away from that. The Cobra, if you can get a good deal on this, and $30 is not a good deal. If you can find this for a good deal, it is a fun tank to play. I played this just relentlessly just recently in order to get 60 kills in gravity mode. And it was fun because of this factor. It's got heat and hesh, 400 and 500 damage. So you're putting out big numbers on a medium tank that's got a 45 kilometer per hour top speed and 10 degrees of gun depression, but would not spend $30 on it right now. Another tank to be wary of is the Object 260. This is a tier 10 tank without any camo. They're selling it for $15, $17.5 with the camo. And the reason I say to watch out for this tank is because the armor is not great for a tier 10 heavy tank. You've got good mobility. Look at this, 50 kilometers for a heavy tank. You're going to find yourself probably playing with the mediums more often if you can. You just have to be a much more experienced player, in my opinion, know where to hide, because other tier 10s are going to be able to pen this tank, even though it does have that spaced armor on the side. So you've got to really know where to go onto maps. Do not just assume this is a heavy tank with great armor, because it just does not play that well. So keep that in mind. 17.5 for a tier 10, that's 15,000. It's still a little bit high in my opinion, but that is the store. Just ran through this real quick. And again, guys, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment below as to what type of videos you want me to start getting into, and we'll start putting those out. Appreciate it. And as always, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.